Bam! Guess what? It's news at 8 on a Thursday, where we look at the week's news. We look at the good news, the bad news, and some funny news later on. So it's all over the place, a bit like my life, to be fair. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the main news of the week, of which, well, there's actually two, which is rather disturbing. But we will find out what's going on there. Oh, I'm online. That's what's going on there. Who knew? That one. So yeah, if you want to join in the chat, feel free. It's always good to have an opinion, even if you don't agree with what I'm saying. It's not all about me. Although technically it is. Hi T. It's about us and what we are chatting about. And what we're chatting about is the news. And like I said before, there's two main stories. One is quite literally breaking. Well, there's three actually. One's breaking, one's broke, and one is smashed to pieces. That's what I'm going to start with, because that's the only way to do it. You start with the one that's smashed to pieces. So, this week's top story. Sansy's good, she's in here somewhere, just had a pottering around. So the election results. Now, when we were talking last week, the voting was still going on, and we were like, we don't know what's going to go on there with the election vote, and we don't know if Labour are going to get the trouncing that they deserve. Hi Stephen, Kelly, and Rollo. And Angela. Rollo's a dog. I'm not going mad, honest. No, maybe a bit. But yeah, we had the results in. And, well, if we look at that one there in a little bit more thing, there we go. We can actually see what has been going on in the polls. Because the polls, hang on, I can't read it. There we go. I was in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place now. Oh gosh. Sorry, doing a Rollo thing again then. Is that the one I wanted? That's the one I wanted. That's what I want. Just open it, will you? There we go. Right then. So what we've got here is the council seats won by the parties. Thanks to the BBC for this. Very nice of them to let me use it. They don't know. I pay a licence, so technically I own it anyway. So the change since 2021. Well, Reform didn't really have in any of the elections that had gone on Thursday. Remember, not everyone had elections last week, including Wigan. We didn't have any local elections. It was a fallow year for us. But Reform ended up with 677 seats at the end of it. The Liberal Democrats went up 163 and ended up on 370. The Tories had the biggest hit, but you remember 2021 was when Tories were flying high. This is when the Tories had Boris Johnson in charge and everything was looking good after COVID was going, and it was all, things were looking up, so the Tories did really well. Labour, they've gone down to 99 seats. They had 108. They lost 186. Then you got Independents. Hello. They were down 20. Boo. Green Party were up 45. Boo. My Bon Cur now, no idea. Was down 2 to 3, and the Residents Association was down 1 to 2. So yeah, that was the results of 1,637 councillors. Rollerbox to say hi whenever you say Rollo. Ah, Rollo. He's a little sausage dog. Hey, don't talk to me like that, and I'm still here, you know. Anyway, yeah, so it was a bit of a drumming. Now the Tories lost out. But you expect them to lose out because obviously they'd messed up at the previous election. So the following day, general election, the following day, Keir Starmer comes out and says that he gets it. Well, that's something then. You get that people didn't vote for you. So they're going to go further and faster in change. And you're like, sorry? You're going to go further and faster because you've lost lots of seats. And then there was the big story of Nigel Farage's Reform winning the Runcorn by-election by just 6 votes. Now that doesn't sound overly impressive when you say it like that. It's like 6 votes. Well, that's neither here nor there, is it really? And you're right, it's not here nor there. But what was impressive with that, and that is a word that you have to use, is the fact that, I'm not in the right page again, is the fact that previous to that, it was a 14,000 majority for Labour. So I wrote about this in the paper because I write in the paper, and I wrote about the arrogance of Labour because, well, they're arrogant. So I wrote at the beginning, is the attitude of Labour cabinet at the moment handing the keys to number 10, is the attitude of Labour cabinet at the moment handing the keys to number 10 to Reform UK? Many I speak to think so. If I was a Labour MP, I would be concerned for my political future. More so if I was a Labour councillor. I had predicted pretty much the outcome of last week's elections. It was obvious to all except those with the red rosettes. I was therefore amazed at the attitude of our great PM the day after, saying my response is, we get it. We were elected last year to bring about change. He vowed to go further and faster in delivering this change. So I wrote, I think I speak for many when I say the change people voted for was to rid us of his Labour Party and teach the Tories a lesson too. Reform UK had a stonker with hundreds of new councillors and around the country and winning the Runcorn by-election, turning a 14,000k Labour majority into a majority of just 6, but still a shift of at least 14,007 votes. If only there was someone who knows Keir and Co and could gently remind them that they got 1 million votes less in the 2019 general election than in the 2019 general election in last year's general election. They did not win a huge mandate. Many people simply stayed at home and did not bother to go out to vote. The Conservatives lost that election, and though a win is a win, it was hardly emphatic if you look at the votes cast overall. Reform UK do scare me. They're a one-trick pony. But will they be able to run councils and all that entails? Only time will tell. If they do succeed, or at least don't utterly mess things up, I had to rephrase that. It's going in the paper, you see. Where are we? I've lost it. Mess things up. Then people might decide at the next general election to give them their votes. Apathy is the main issue when it comes to elections. Blah, 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 blah. And then, yeah, we go on to other bits and pieces and stuff. So, yeah, that was basically Keir Starmer. Like, yeah, we lost the election, but we're still great, and people still want us to carry on doing what we're doing. Well, that's not how I see it. But, you know, maybe I don't know what the people really see. But Friday, news at 10, top story, Prince Harry, mourning again in an interview. Is it time to defund the BBC? We had all this news going on with the elections, we had all this news going on, and all they wanted to talk about was Mourning Harry, mourning. The other main story, Reform do well in elections, was 12 minutes into the half-hour programme. BBC concentrated on the Tory losses and hardly mentioned the Runcorn by-election of 6 votes. So yeah, absolute nonsense. Saturday the 3rd, the BBC News at 10 puts Reform first. Maybe they'd read my paper thing, even though I hadn't written it at this point. What we're going on? Congratulations on your 5k subscribers, thank you. Angela Cancel again. For watching, please hit the like button, subscribe, share. Let's get Elder to 5,000. Let's get to 10,000. No, 5,100, yeah. I'm joking. But yeah, don't forget, you can comment as well. You get a shout out at the end, even if I don't agree with what you're saying. It doesn't matter. The whole point is we're discussing these things, and there's very few places now where you're actually allowed to discuss things. I'm still waiting for the filth to knock on my door and take me away for having an opinion. So yeah, Saturday, BBC put Reform First on their 10 o'clock news bulletin or equivalent. Sunday the 4th, West Streeting, Health Secretary. I thought he was sensible prior to him becoming a complete idiot. Says you don't turn around a country with breadth and depth of a range, breadth and depth of a crisis we inherited. You don't turn it around in 9 months. I'm pretty sure that Labour were quite obviously saying to Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng that they turned the economy around and things up in about 2 weeks. So if you can't, they're saying that you can't turn it around. Well, I think Conservatives prove you can turn it around in 2 weeks, and it obviously the wrong way, but still they turned it around pretty damn quick. He said, "We got the message. We are not daft. We haven't got our heads in the sand. All I ask of people is give us a bit of time." That's for a game of soldiers, is what I say. Yeah, absolute, complete and utter waste of time, these people. But it's what we voted for. Although I didn't vote Labour, to be honest with you. Anyway, I need a drink after all that. Hope you're still with us. Right then. So next is the week's news, which brings us to today's news as well. So we're back on May the 2nd, which was a Friday, last Friday. The cyber attack on the Co-op earlier on in the week was more serious than they said. Basically, a lot of information, personal information of customers had been, taken. I'm not sure about passwords or anything like that, but certainly addresses and all that, names and addresses and all that kind of thing had allegedly been hacked by the hackers. Which is one reason why I don't do store cards, apart from the fact I don't believe in them. I do have a Tesco store card, to be fair, and I only have it so I can up the algorithms. Not even joking, because if you look at that, it says "Hello Anita," because I decided to call myself Anita for Tesco. So they've got this woman, allegedly, who drinks a lot of Guinness, buys a lot of gluten-free food, which I don't eat, and eats a lot of chicken and other stuff, so it's completely messing up their algorithms. And if anyone nicks that information, well, they're not getting my information, they're getting whoever Anita is, and I have no idea who Anita is. I think she was the woman who was my boss when I first got a job, when I was 16, years ago. Anyway, Saturday the 3rd of May. Yeah, you're giving all this information to these companies so you can get a discount, but the information's on the internet, and then anyone can nick that information. Plus, some companies sell that information on anyway, which is why you get loads of people ringing you up, cold calling you, and all that kind of stuff. And I don't get that. My phone number has been on the internet for 15, 20 years, 25 years. Jesus, I've had it that long. Yeah, I have. Same phone number. Don't get cold calls, don't get anything like that. Mind you, when I'm at my shop, I don't get any calls at all because there's no green signal. Well, that's another story for another day. Anyway, Saturday the 3rd of May. 3rd of May. 14 kids arrested after a 14-year-old boy dies in a fire in an industrial unit. More information has come out about that. It just seems a horrendous thing. The youngest person to be arrested was 11 years old. And they've been released on bail while further inquiries go on. Lucy Powell MP is a minister, and she's she says that the rape gangs on Radio 4, when she was asked about them, said, "Oh, you're getting your little trumpet out, are you?" I mean, has absolutely no respect for people who've gone through horrific incidents. And this government just seems to, let's say it, let the Muslims get away with whatever they want. Let's put it out there. That seems to be what's going on. 50 plus years ago when he was 60. Hey, calm down a bit. I mean, it's nearly 50 years, but it's not. Cheeky kid. Sunday the 4th. Many Iranian nationals arrested by police in counter-terrorists activity, along with the army as well. And it turns out, we later found out, that there was possibly an attack on the Israeli embassy in London, which was about to occur. So if we've saved people's lives and things like that, then good work for the counter-terrorist organisation, the police and the army. The 14 children were still being held on Sunday the 4th, 11 boys and 3 girls, over the death of Leighton Carr, who was the 14-year-old who lost his life. The 5th of May was VE Day. Commemorations began with a fly past at Buckingham Palace and various parades, including a squad from Ukraine. Israel says it wants to capture all the land of Gaza. Who saw that coming? Who would have possibly called that out? The whole thing as being a land grab by Israel. And now they're actually admitting that's what it is. Absolute... Netanyahu should be in The Hague for war crimes. As should all of Hamas. I'm not defending Hamas in any way, state or form. As should George W. Bush. As should Tony Blair. All of them should be in The Hague for war crimes, for what they've done when they were in power. The US says it may put 100% tariffs on movies shot outside the USA. Now, I have no idea how that works. Does that mean if you go into a cinema in America to watch, I don't know, Wallace and Gromit movie or a Carry On film or something, I don't know, I don't watch movies, as you can probably tell. They're a bit dated. Then, don't look a day over 40, well, I'm well over 40. But, does that mean, instead of, if you watch an American film, so if you watch like the new Spider-Man, if there is one, I don't know, then you pay $10 to watch it. But if you watch, I don't know, let's think of something a bit more current. Bridget Jones's grandson, you pay $20 because 100% tariffs. I don't know how it works. I don't know how that works. But anyway, Trump just likes tariffs. It's his favourite word. Two riders were it was a bank holiday. 2 riders were tragically killed at Alton Park at the British Superbike Championship. It was at the start, and another guy, a third guy, was seriously injured and had fractured a vertebra in his neck, which just sounds absolutely horrific. Thoughts and prayers with all the families and friends and everyone involved in the racing, spectators and everything, because no one goes to racing to see incidents like that. You go to see action and close racing. Like I've said before, I was the chairman of a stock car club, and it was all about the crashes and everything, and we're always fearful that something would happen, but we put in as many safety precautions as we could. But sadly in some places, oi, get down. Sadly, in some places, there were accidents where people lost their lives, and this was a tragedy at Alton Park, which is not far from us. I've never been to Alton Park, but it's in Cheshire, so it's not too far away. Tuesday the 6th of May, India and Pakistan ramp up tensions after India attacking rebels with 9 targets targeted, and this was after the terrorist attack that we mentioned a couple of weeks ago on tourists in India. It's all in Kashmir. It's all very complicated and a bit like what's going on with Gaza and the Israelis. It's one of these wars that there's never going to be a fix for. It's just going to go on and on and on for probably eternity. The last 2 months, no aid or medical drops are going into Gaza. Say this is a deliberate attempt to weaponise aid and food by Benjamin Netanyahu, which is a war crime. Another one to add to the list. Why the governments around the world are not calling him out, I have no idea. What have the Israelis got on our leaders around the world? What have they got on them that's going to mean that they keep the gob shut when there's obviously ethnic cleansing going on? Like I said, I'm not, by any stretch of the imagination, I've never defended, I never will defend Hamas for what they did. But I think there's more to it than that. And Trump seems to be quite keen to get building on Gaza and make it into a lovely resort with Trump towers everywhere and things like that. I mean, you just couldn't write it, could you? Britain signed a free trade deal with India, which on paper sounds good. But then we find out that it also means that people, if you've got an Indian company, so Jaguar, which is owned by an Indian company now, I think, then because they're an Indian company, they can employ and ship over people from India and get them working in the factories and not have to pay any national insurance contributions for these people for 3 years, the first 3 years while they're here. Whereas if they employ a British person or someone who lives in Britain, they would have to pay the national insurance contribution, and the worker would have to pay national insurance as well, which means it's going to be cheaper to ship people up. So what is going on? Let's just give our country away, shall we, Keir? You seem to be doing that. Yet to see the details of what's going on today, but more of that later. President Trump meets Josh Carney, the new Prime Minister of, well, the continuing Prime Minister of Canada, at the White House. And Carney says he's spoken to many owners of Canada, i.e. the people of Canada, and without a shadow of a doubt, all of them have said Canada is not for sale. And Trump's like, yeah, I'll buy you, I'll get you. So he's going to get, the Panama Canal, Canada, Greenland, and Keir Starmer will just give him the UK, so he doesn't have to even try on that one. Wednesday the 7th still, black smoke comes out of the chimney in the Vatican, so no Pope has been chosen. It's the first day that they are meeting to decide on the Pope, and when they do decide on a Pope, white smoke will come out of the chimney, and that will mean that 2/3 of the cardinals will have voted for the same person to become the next Pope. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, you wait with breath abated. Hiya, Alan. But you don't have to wait long. The 5 Iranian men arrested on suspicion of preparing a terrorist attack were allegedly going to target Israeli embassy in London. So we found that out on Wednesday. Thursday's today. The new Pope has been elected. White smoke and everything. Pope Leo XIV. He's the first ever North American Pope, and it was the 4th round of voting. He's 69 years old, which is actually quite young for a Pope. So we could get a good 10 years out of him, maybe more, who knows. Although he was born in North America, he's done most of his popey stuff, or his most religious stuff, in South America, in Peru and places like that. But anyway, good luck to him. Obviously, I'm a devout atheist, so I don't really care, but as long as he's a good person and sorts out things that are not right with the Catholic Church, then it can't be a bad thing. Power outages on several islands in Spain. This follows the power outages a couple of weeks ago, which were unexplained. Trump says a deal is done with the UK with aluminium, steel and drugs. No red tapes, things will move quickly both ways, he says. It's a bit like when you have a sandwich that's gone off. I mean, things move quickly both ways then as well, don't they? Kind of thing. And the interest rates are cut to 4.25%. So if you have a mortgage, that's good news. If you have savings, it's not so good news. Which brings us to the news that is a bit more light-hearted, interesting, or damn right disturbing. Although this is genius, if I'm being brutally honest with you. Solar panels are being installed over canals. They're not like canals. They're more like waterway things that just drain the water off. In India, so it prevents water evaporation, doesn't use extra land, and keeps the solar panels cooler because they're over water. Which, seems like a good idea to me. Because you can walk anywhere in India and get a tan, can't you, most of the time. And we're having an Indian summer. Well, last year was an Indian summer, wasn't it? The year before was an Indian summer because it never stopped raining. When I say Indian summer, I mean monsoon season. My husband and I decided never to go to bed angry at each other, which is always good advice. We've been awake since Saturday. Liverpool fans' celebrations cause an earth tremor. Liverpool fans celebrating the club's historic Premier League title clinch clinching win over Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield caused a series of tremors. The most significant tremor was caused by Alexis Mac Allister's strike in the 24th minute, which put Liverpool 2-1 up and registered a peak magnitude of 1.74 on the Richter scale. The data was recorded by the University of Sydney in Australia. University of Liverpool. And they're using equipment to detect earthquakes. Their enthusiasm was literally powerful enough to move the earth, Professor Ben Edwards said. Doesn't he do the commentary on Formula 1 for Channel 4 as well, Ben Edwards? Well, he gets around a bit, doesn't he? R.I.P. Seymour Wiener, 1926-1925. And I know you're like, what? Who? But this is the man with the best name in baseball, Seymour Wiener. Wiener, 98, was a World War II veteran and a Mets diehard fan who became famous as the face of the Mets $1 hot dog nights, a nod to Wiener's last name. So Seymour Wiener, you could have a chomp on his wiener. The sausage hot dog thing, obviously. Oh, even Keir Starmer didn't like that one. Labour have been accused of not listening to frustrated voters who want faster change. Although losing a 14,696 majority in less than a year is impressively quick. Sure is. Talk TV, Mike Graham, for one day of the year, Spain and Portugal achieved net zero because they had no power at all. Which is cruel, but also true. A Ladybird book. Mother finds Larry's mystery sock, and Larry looks a bit guilty there. I won't go into why it's a mystery sock, other than he's obviously worn it when he had very sweaty feet because it's a bit crunchy. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Deep-voiced men tend to have a lower concentration of sperm in their ejaculation than men with high-pitched voices. Who knew? Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Although I don't think I've got a deep voice anyway, to be fair. Not that it really matters. Ends up in a sock. I saw a snake that was 3.14 metres long. I think it was a python. Python, 3.14, pi, number pi. It's a mathematical joke. It's hilarious. Think about it. And if you were a youngster, let's be honest, in the 70s, maybe even the 80s, you 100% had one of these. I say one of these, what am I talking about? You'd lose them all the time and they were dead cheap. So you had probably 10 to 20 of these over your childhood. It's a cap bomb, which is basically, if you had a cap gun, you had a row of little explosive charges that you put in your cap gun, a roll, and then you'd be able to fire your gun and it'd go bang, 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 because it'd keep firing the charges and you get this roll of paper coming out. God, what we used to do in the older days. But what you could do is you could rip it off and then put it in the metal plate with the spring above it, in this little rocket thing, throw the rocket up into the air, it lands, and because it's heavy on one end, it lands straight down, and the pressure would explode the cap thing that you've got in it. And yeah, they were brilliant, loved them. Forgot all about them until I saw that picture. Yeah, they're explosive stuff, that's what I say. Can you imagine kids of today being allowed to play with explosives? Now, again, this made me chuckle. Either a sheep minding its own business by a lake, or a massive sheep in South Wales. And there's literally a sheep just chilling, led down, by a lake, but the ground it's on is basically in the same shape as South Wales, including Barry Island, which is superbly impressive. I say, it did make me chuckle. On this day, 1969, Janis Joplin appeared at the Royal Albert Hall, London. It was her first London appearance. And there's a picture of Greta Thunberg. I miss the old days when billionaires' vanity projects were to build public libraries, museums and music venues. not to fly into space and then think they're space astronauts. When packing for a holiday, put a few heavy items that you won't need, such as house bricks, in the suitcase. Then if you find your luggage is overweight at the checkout in the desk, you can simply remove as many of the bricks as required to get below that magic 45k limit. Brilliant! So yeah, if you're worried that your case is going to be overweight, just put some bricks in, and then if you are overweight, if your case is overweight, take the bricks out. You're not going to miss them anyway, because who needs bricks when you're on holiday? But you get all the stuff that you do need on. Oh, it's genius. Obviously, that's from Top Twips, from Viz. Hi Walmart, I don't think the mushrooms will work. This is someone who's done some online shopping. Unavailable, Tampax Pearl tampons with leak guard, braid, super plus absorbency, unscented. 18 certificate. Why the 18 certificate? America's a weird place. $4.67 each, quantity 1. But unavailable. Substitution. Whole white mushroom, 16 ounce, £4.67. It's like that fucking expensive mushrooms. But yeah, I think the customer is right. I don't think the mushrooms are going to work. Our local Mexican restaurant used to be a Chinese restaurant. Instead of painting over a mural, they just put sombreros on the pandas. There's some really shit drawing of a pandas with sombreros on it. It's very odd. What I do is still do the Mexican food and the Chinese food as well, and kind of mush it together like that. That'd be good. Trans activists demand that J.K. Rowling should have no involvement in the Harry Potter series. HBO bosses have confirmed that J.K. Rowling will be part of the series. So yeah, trans activists, I'm sorry, activists, if you want to be trans, that's fine. But trans activists I have no time for whatsoever. Right, we had a look at the rockets earlier on, and discussed cap guns and all that kind of thing as well, westerns and everything. Even before then, or maybe around about the same time, when I was at primary school, and maybe when I first started secondary school as well, I used to collect these, and I always used to chew the arms off, and the legs as well. Never came to any harm of all these plastics I was eating. But who else collected the Munch Brunch fruit and veg pencil toppers, which were, again, I completely forgotten about these, and I definitely had a few of them in my time. But yeah, you'd always end up chewing the. That's why I had to keep buying new ones, because that's why I think they had the hands waving, so kids would chew them, and then need a new one. I did have plastic poo though for a while. Maybe they are related after all. And of course, everyone thinks that computers weren't around when we were at school in the 1970s and 80s. Wrong. They looked a bit different, to be fair, but they were around. You had the delete, you had the refresh, and you had the print. So it's a pencil with a rubber at one end and a pencil sharpener. You've never seen or heard of the fruit people? What? What? You must have done. Can't just be me who remembers them. Okay, it might be the 1950s then. Now at first I nearly didn't put this picture up because I honestly thought it was a thumbnail from one of my videos when I looked at it quickly. And Miliband in a straitjacket in a padded room, and he says, and he's got his tongue out, first we cover all the open spaces in the UK with solar panels, then we dim the sun. It's just me and whoever posted that thing. Well, I'm older than you, but yeah, no, maybe you were just a little bit too late for him. A tractor that says, please do not draw dick pics on your ballot paper. Last time, he got in. Which is a valid point. Obviously, the farmers still having a major and rightly disagreement with Keir Starmer. So please do not draw dick pics on your ballot paper last time he got in. 2025 is most likely the only year that is also a square number that you will live in. And that goes for anyone, because the next one is 2116, which is 90 odd years ago. So unless you're like under 6 months old and then you live to be like 100 and, oh no, not quite 100 and something, but in your 90s, then you might live through both, but you won't remember either of them. 1936, so my mum's done too, because she was born in 1935. She's 90 later on this month, and obviously 2025, so she was born in 1936. Kind of proving the point, really, thinking about it, that if you're born in 2024, then you probably will see 2116. But yeah, 1936 is 44 squared, 2025 is 45 squared, and 2116 is 46 squared. For most people alive today, living to see 2116 would require reaching well over 100 years old, which is statistically unlikely. Therefore, unless you're very young now or live in an exceptionally long life, 2025 may be the last perfect square year you'll experience. I tell you what, it's been anything but square. I mean, the irony, not lost on me. Now, you know when you order something from a takeaway, be it Subway or Starbucks, don't go Subway either, and sometimes they write on the description of what you want, but they do it in shorthand. Well, sometimes it works. I just wanted a BLT with cheese, not judgment. So someone's written BLT-CH on it, but it doesn't look like the L looks like an L. It looks like someone's written bitch. And it's Jimmy. I don't know who Jimmy is, but that picture also makes it look like it's a Jimmy wrapped up as well, so I don't know. Katy Perry went snorkeling. Katy Perry now is a marine biologist. I think this is the meme that will keep on giving. No flies on her. Oh, I love how a fly will get into your house through a 2mm crack in a bathroom window, but can't find its way out even if you have the side of your house taken off. Again, it's completely true. Scientists recorded the sound of 2 helium atoms laughing. Helium, He, periodic table. It's a science joke again, sorry. He, helium, 2 helium, no. On this day, 1997, Mark Hamill and Chewbacca relaxed during a break in the filming of Star Wars, and there's a picture of Bungle and Jeffrey from Rainbow. Made me laugh. A new study finds Antarctica gained mass for the first time in decades, reversing previous lost trends and briefly offsetting global sea level rise. Antarctica gains ice for the first time in decades, and it's a positive thing. I mean, is it not just the natural cycle of the planet to go warmer and colder? That's what it does. The most terrifying moment in life is when the toilet refuses to flush at someone else's house. We've all been there. Just me again. Okay. Keith Starmer dressed up as Kevin or Perry from Kevin and Perry. And it's, that's so unfair, because he lost the election. Professional mullet removal. If your mullet has become unmanageable, our team can offer you a complete removal and counselling service. Disposal takes place in the privacy of your own trailer, and restyling advice offered immediately. Mullet free for 10 years, 100% guaranteed. Discreet service, no bob job too small. Mullover Limited, 88 Wigmore Lane, Plymouth. Doing my lunch duty, and 2 year 7s have just rolled out a picnic blanket, sat down, got out 2 actual mugs, filled them with tea from a flask, and got a pack of biscuits out. Incredible! Someone's replied, I once caught a year 7 having a fag and a can of Fosters at lunchtime. Our catchment areas may differ slightly. We were more the Fosters and the the fag round the corner. Not that I ever did that, but there were some people who, maybe not the Foster, but certainly had fags and things like that around and about. Oh, they were stood outside the fence looking in, though, to be fair. Do regular dogs see police dogs and think, oh no, it's a cop? Customers are fuming. Breaking news, Lloyds and Halifax down as thousands of customers locked out of online banking. Again, why are we going down the route of everything online? If you get hacked, people can take your money. You have a checkbook and a pen. You've been on blankety blank. Can I see pictures of people who have had their TV built into the wall? Thank you. And then someone's posted a picture of themselves sat on a sofa going like that. Which again is genius, and written the words, no problem. Oh, sorry. It's my humour, you see. As is this. This is slightly offensive, it says. My favourite kind of berries are robberies. Robberies, berries. A little kid holding a sign, which has obviously been faked, but still very funny. Because he's obviously from America. We drank cider and ran from the police. This new generation drinks Prime and calls the police. We ain't the same. Again, very true. President Trump claims he will be trying to reopen Alcatraz prison. Now, I don't think he actually owns Alcatraz prison, but he did say, rebuild and open Alcatraz. For too long, America has been plagued by vicious violence and repeat criminal offenders, the dregs of society. Is he talking about himself? Who will never contribute anything other than misery and suffering? He is talking about himself. When we were a more serious nation in times past, we did not hesitate to lock up the most dangerous criminals and keep them far away from anyone they could harm. That is the way it's supposed to be. No longer will we tolerate these serial offenders who spread filth, bloodshed and mayhem in our streets. That is why, today, I am directing the Bureau of Prisons, together with the Department of Justice, FBI and Homeland Security, to reopen and substantially enlarge and rebuild Alcatraz to house the Americans' most ruthless and violent offenders. We will no longer be held hostage to criminals, thugs and judges that are afraid to do their job and allow us to remove criminals who came to our country illegally. The reopening of Alcatraz will serve as a symbol of law and order and justice. We will make America great again, he said. Absolute shit. But again, it's not a bad idea. But it won't get done before he's finished. So from that to this. I did quite well then. I read all the words out in the right order. Where are we going? Morecambe and Wise. Everyone remembers how much they laughed the first time they saw this Morecambe and Wise classic. If you were watching this at the time, you had no idea you were about to hear the most iconic words spoken in British comedy history. Which is, of course, I am playing the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order, whilst throttling Andre Previn. And what I like about it more than anything else is they obviously didn't tell the guys in the orchestra in the background what was going to happen and what he was going to say, because they look like they're absolutely wetting themselves laughing. And it is, if you've never seen it, you've got to watch that clip. So it's Andre Previn, Morecambe and Wise, absolutely fantastic. I wasn't a big fan, Angela, but that was good. That was just brilliant. I loved it. Talking of infrastructure, in Wigan, we get a call for the town centre so far. Meanwhile, in Saudi Arabia, the 105-mile The Line project has been revealed, or rather a recent photograph of it. A new photo shows construction progress at The Line, Saudi Arabia's 105 megacity, being built as part of NEOM. Concrete foundations, retaining walls and major infrastructure works are now visible, along with cranes and large work camps across the site. The first phase, Hidden Marina, will house 200,000 people and include hotels, shops, schools and community facilities or faculties. Plus, you will not have to leave it because everything you need is in there. Now, I don't know if you've ever read Judge Dredd. That's what it looks like at the minute. But in Judge Dredd, the megacities just end up being prostitution, drugs, and criminal gang activity. Although this is in Saudi Arabia, so that probably won't happen. But I don't understand why it's just one long straight line. It's just like literally one long straight line. That's all it is. And it's still... oh yeah, they called him Preview. They did. Andre Preview. But yeah, it's good. But it's not going to work. Surely a robot can figure out how to tick a box on a website saying "I am not a robot." I've seen Terminator 2, and that one could fly a fucking helicopter. Well, Gustav Fox, you're not Gustav Fox. Just call him. You're not wrong. Meanwhile, have you seen these things that people have done that are like a toy figure of themselves or of celebrities? Well, this one's cute. Still young enough to stamp on. Baby Key Starmer toy. Well, it's not real though, is it? Because the dummy's in the mouth. Key's obviously spat his dummy out. Great names for shops. You know, like Scissor Sisters for hairdressers, when the Scissor Sisters were a big pop group. There's about this one. Chinese takeaway called Soon Fat. Which I do like. Because if that's all you ever eat, you will be fat. And then we come up to something we've already touched on today, which is my YouTube channel, which a couple of days ago was on 4,998 subscribers, which was like perilously close to 5,000. But sadly, that was it. And then we've got this. Would you all still eat this? And there's a picture there that's been put up probably by Petra. My name was Chloe. I wanted to live. Your personal choice killed me. Don't buy it. Well, surely that should be don't buy me. I mean, the grammar is terrible. And then someone's replied, I would look for one with my name on it, like those Coca-Cola bottles. Which I think is... Remember the Coca-Cola bottles that had names on? And you spent hours looking for it, and then you realise that everyone's got the same name as you, so yeah, it didn't work. As we all know, I only like Formula 1, it's the only sport I follow, and I don't like Lewis Hamilton. Well, I'm not the only one. This is Carlos Sainz on Lewis Hamilton. He moved as soon as he saw me drive. That created contact, which I think is quite typical, honestly, of his driving style. Meanwhile, we'd moved up to 4,999. And then you worry that it's going to go backwards. Hosepipe ban looms amid medium drought risk. Now remember, we've had the wettest winter on record, and they're already talking about drought and hosepipe bans. I mean, what the absolute... Lewis is washed up. He's a washed up has-been. Yeah, it's just his personality I don't like. I mean, he's a good driver, can't get that wrong. But yeah, he's... I don't think he really cares anymore now. But anyway, we'll see. New male birth control blocks sperm for 2 years. Trials begin. A groundbreaking male contraceptive called Adam, developed by biotech company Contraline, has advanced to phase 2 human trials in Australia. This injectable treatment uses hydrogel implant that is inserted into the vas deferens to block sperm transport for up to 2 years. Early trial results show no serious side effects, making it a promising non-hormonal, long-lasting and reversible alternative to current male birth control methods like condoms and vasectomy. But hang on a minute. It has to leave the body. Otherwise, you would just... wouldn't you? Because your body keeps producing it. I turned into Boris Johnson. That seems to be one of the most dangerous things I've ever read. And they're even saying now that men should clear themselves out at least 2 or 3 times a week in order to reduce the risk of prostate cancer. So if that thing isn't clearing out your general lower regions because it's blocking everything from coming out, then you're going to get... I don't get it. Anyway. Ta-da! 5,000 subscribers. Da, 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 da. And this last 28 days we've had 29.2 thousand views, which is down. And watch time in 28 days, 1,000.3 hours of people watching my videos. Bad electric cars permanently, yes. So on to the next 5,000. It's 70 by the time that out now. This is a good deal. I do like a yellow sticker. It means the stuff's cheaper. So these are whole black peppercorns from Asda. They were 99p, reduced to £1. Huh? Yep, not even joking. And this again is a newborn rabbit looks like a kung fu master. Wipe on, wipe off, wipe on, wipe off. Oh, thank you for the, thank you, Alan, thank you, Angela. A location of all the people who think Starmer is a knob, but pretty much the entire England and Wales and Northern Ireland is just covered in red. It's little dots they put on, but yeah, it's just completely covered. Star Wars spaceship travel could be a reality next century, says Boffins. A Mexican theoretical physicist Miguel Alcacorbe believes instead of moving through space, a ship could bend space itself using a real-life warp drive like in the films. The only problem is, I mean, you know, I'm not an expert on films, but I'm pretty sure, that is the Starship Enterprise, which is from Star Trek, not Star Wars. But I get the gist of what they're talking about, so let's not worry too much about it. But anyway, we won't be around to see it. Or will we? No. Oh, me. I don't know, second-hand shop. Where did the Daily Star get their stock photographs of is more important. Man who died for 8 hours claims he saw 3-story-tall creatures in hell. Theologist Stephen Kang claims he spent 8 hours in the demonic realm of hell and has urged people to avoid it at all costs. No shit, Sherlock. Or maybe he just had a bad night's sleep and had a nasty nightmare. We all know about Donald Trump causing delay to GTA 6 in wild internet theory. Now we have GTA 6 second trailer, but some fans are a little concerned that the re-election of President of the US, Donald Trump, might cause further delays to the game beyond its May 2026 release. I would have thought he would like it because Rockstar, who make the game, are primarily an American company. Meanwhile, Deliveroo is sold to a US rival for £2.9 billion as food app may disappear from your phone. American firm DoorDash is set to take over British food delivery giant Deliveroo in a deal worth almost £3 billion that will see the companies merge into one super firm operating in 40 countries. All with illegal immigrants. It's great, isn't it? Meanwhile, Poundland closing more stores in the UK in the next 10 days. Poundland in crisis at the minute, going the same way as Pound Stretcher and Pound World, although Pound World's kind of come back again. But yeah, budget is not the way forward, especially when you're not budget anymore. Trump's mental decline on display as he mumbles response to simple questions. People are concerned about the US President's mental faculties after he embarrassingly could not answer a question about the reopening of the infamous Alcatraz prison. So you're thinking about opening the Alcatraz prison, are you, Donald? Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah. Dawn raids see 9 arrested in neo-Nazi probe after birthday party held for Hitler. Police seized 2 swords, a Nazi flag, a hard drive alongside Nazi memorabilia and imitation weapons at one other address after neo-Nazis celebrated Adolf Hitler's birthday. I mean, is that really a crime? I know people who collect military memorabilia and they've got some Nazi stuff. It doesn't mean they're going to go around and start being nasty, or Nazis even. I even know someone who has a Nazi SS uniform and wears it on a regular thing because they do the war games. You know, when you're at like a fun fair or a fete or something, and you have these reenactments. And he dresses up. He's got all the gear. No idea, but he's got all the gear. Food trader poisons 40 suspected gang members' pasties with caterpillar oil. All of those poisoned attempted to flee or reach hospital, but they died en route, triggering a wave of panic among the gang members, leading to the food trader's house being destroyed. I mean, would you necessarily go to a food trader on a street in a country where health and hygiene isn't great, who is a fan of a gang that you're not in? Disney announces location of new theme park in thrilling moments for daredevils. The new resort will be situated in the United Arab Emirates as a collaboration between Walt Disney and a local leisure and entertainment company, and will be just 50 minutes from Dubai. I don't think Alan likes the pasties. Pet raccoon smoking meth pipe in driver's seat, caught by cops during traffic stop. When police in America pulled over Victoria Vidal, 55, for a routine traffic stop, they were stunned to find her pet raccoon sitting in the driver's seat of the car trying to smoke a meth pipe. Only in America, eh? Thank God. Donald Trump suggests letting Russia back into World Cup could help end the war. I mean, is this his way of ending the war in one day? Let them join in sports again, where they are so trustworthy. UK-US trade deal worst case scenario could see Brits eating chlorinated chicken. Donald Trump has announced that the UK and the US have reached a comprehensive trade agreement. The US is first of many, he says. But whether or not the deal is good for Brits remains to be seen, because Keir Starmer won't tell us anything about it. Probably because we're probably the 55th state now. Putin to rival Eurovision with Russia's own song contest after Ukraine war ban. Russia was banned from entering the Eurovision Song Contest in 2022 after its invasion of Ukraine, but it seems Vladimir Putin doesn't want the country to miss out on the fun. No, because all homosexuals like Eurovision, don't they? And he's missing it like crazy. 20p rise in Wetherspoon's pint prices in days as Tim Martin blames the Labour budget. Bad news for budget pub goers across the country. Wetherspoon's boss Sir Tim Martin has warned the price of pints is set to increase in days, blaming the Labour budget. And that is the Moon Under the Water pub, which ironically is the name of the pub in Wigan Town Centre. But it's not the same one. There must have more one Moon Under the Water, because I don't think he's ever been to our Moon Under the Water. UK High Street misery has 3 brands to shut all stores in weeks. Full list. I read it, and it's basically 3 independent shops. One's got 2 shops and 2 have got 1 shop. But it's still sad, and it is going to go that way massively. A blue whale's faeces can weigh as much as 4 tons, making it the 2nd largest piece of shit in the world, just behind Keir Starmer. I'm sorry. And you notice we didn't really have a lot of these when it was Tories in power, especially with Rishi. I'm not saying that he was great, but you know. I may have mentioned before, but Formula One's the only sport I really like. But I would love to see, and I must admit the drivers obviously enjoy themselves tremendously at the last Grand Prix. Because they always do a ride round before the race starts on race day, so all the crowds can actually see them and they can wave to the crowd, because obviously they can't do that when they're doing 200 miles an hour, so they wave to the crowds and everything, and often they're on the back of an articulated lorry with a kind of stage built on it and everything, and they wave, they get interviewed and all that kind of stuff, and it's all great, wonderful. And then sometimes, where the British Grand Prix, they're on the back of classic British cars, and they still wave to people and they get a car each. This was probably the best one I've ever seen. It was basically two-seater, actual size Lego cars, all electrical driven, and it ended up being chaos. They were driving into each other, they were cutting corners, they were doing all that. They had a whale of a time, and I think they should do this at every single race. And even Max Verstappen, known for his humour and quick wit, said when he got out of the car, you better go and check corner 7, it needs sweeping, there's a lot of Lego debris there, which was actually quite clever for him. Now, I saved it on the wrong phone, but there was a picture of a toilet, which I may find again, and I may show you again in the future, where it doesn't use water. It's basically aluminium like that at the bottom of it, which opens up. When it opens up, it drops into a fire. There's an actual fire underneath, and it burns your waste. Imagine the smell would be horrendous. I much prefer this idea, which is basically on a ship or an oil rig, and it's basically a toilet where you sit on the toilet, you do your business, and it literally falls straight into the sea. Although no doubt someone somewhere will complain that raw sewage is going into the ocean. But I don't think it really matters when it's like one poo or something similar. These dash cams are a danger to motorists. Every time I see footage from one, there seems to be some sort of accident involved. Again, from Viz. But not wrong. I think they should be banned in Russia. Because everyone who's got a dash cam seems to have nothing but major accidents going on. So if they got rid of the dash cams, it might be safer. My son just told me that he loves the new toy trucks they got at daycare. They're his toy trucks. We donated them because he refused to play with them. Well, I suppose it's different playing with things on your own and playing things with your friends. So maybe that's what it is. But yeah, we all know kids like that. Today is the 80th anniversary of VE Day. Thank you to those who fought for the freedom we all enjoy today. Can't argue with that. We did a 2-minute silence, etc. And we will end with possibly the greatest Briton. Possibly ever. Happy 99th birthday to Sir David Attenborough. Did you do that? Did you? Be honest, hold your hands up. Did you read it out in his voice? Come on, put your hands up if you did. Because I did when I first saw it. It's a picture of David Attenborough, Sir David Attenborough. And here we have someone reading this meme in my voice, it says. And yep, you do. And here we have someone reading this meme in my voice, kind of thing. I didn't want to do it, I wanted you to do it yourselves. And see what happens. Oh. And yeah, that seems a... Oh, bugger. Okay, I see where we went wrong now. There we go. Is that better? Now have you done that? No? Oh, I thought you would have done. See, I did. Unless you're on a like. You might be on like. And that brings us to the breaking news. So this is news that's been breaking while I've been breaking the breaking news from the last week. Yeah, it doesn't look 99. I mean, I don't look 99 either, to be fair. Phone's going mad. Oh, it's going to be warmer tomorrow. 21 degrees. Yay! Spanish Islands. Hang on a minute. Spanish Island hit by power outage as thousands left in the dark again. More than 25 universities in England face deficits this year. Very liquid warning issued in the UK. Here's why it's bad for your health and the environment. Probably studied by a rival manufacturer. How Keir Starmer succeeded on US trade deal where 4 other prime ministers failed. And this is the Independent. We haven't seen it yet. Starmer faces rebellion from his backbenchers over reforms. Well, obviously. Netflix cancels 4 huge shows, including one that topped the most watched charts out of Netflix. A former Greater Manchester bar goes up for sale with a 6-figure price tag, and that's on a King Street in Wigan. Starmer promises defence dividends through hike in military spending. Reform UK won't stop surging as another poll will have Nigel Farage beaming. Okay, Heathrow blackout linked to 60-year-old electrical device. Migrants will have to learn English to A-level standard to get a work visa under new UK immigration reforms. That's kind of good, but the problem is I don't think all Brits are up to A-level standard English. Pope Leo the 14th lectured, we've done that. Starmer says UK-US trade deal will save jobs in car and steel industries, but not we get chlorinated chicken. Of course he'll attack the farmers then, won't he, with that. Bank of England, we've done that. Veterans don Union flag hats and dance to 1940s tunes at VE Day Street Party. It's about football. Warning for tourists, a storm forecast for holiday hotspots. Bill Gates speeds up plans to give away his fortune. Apparently his children will get like less than 1%. EU makes new demand for Britain for Brexit reset. Well, obviously Keir Starmer will go, yeah, okay then. Britain faces painful tax rises as Rachel Reeves forecast to break self-imposed fiscal rules for the economy. Can't we just break her hold on the job? MP calls for Canada to honour pilot who died in flight over England. And then someone's written, parents of autistic children, this is what your child wants to know. For a lot of them, we're just pretending. I'm joking. Well, yeah. And anyway, that is it. So a big shout out to everyone who said hello. So Angela, Stephen, Kelly, and Rollo. Not even here now, but I'm still doing it. Anyway, Rollo's a dog, by the way. I've not gone mad. Alan Barton. So yeah, don't forget, you can like, share, subscribe. You can listen to this as a podcast as well. Feel free to comment in the comment section. If you want to like. If you don't want to like, don't like. You don't have to. No law against it. How long have we been on for? We've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. No, an hour and 10 minutes. I like to keep these to an hour. There was a lot to get through this week though, and I think we did well to get through it all. Thank you T as well. And yeah, that is it. So I need to get back onto that. I need to go to that. I need to do that. So what I'll say is, thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. I will be seeing you. Until next time, Tea.